All right, welcome back to Markets of Sunshine. Today's video we are going to be learning the secret to making gifts that they will love. So we love what we make because we love what we do. But the hard, fast truth of the matter is that not everyone loves and feels the same way about what we make as we do. So take, for instance, let's say that you love to cook and you see the value of wearing an apron when you're cooking because you get food on you, get food on your hands, things splatter and splash. If you are just wearing your clothing with nothing protecting you, those splatters and splashes are going to get on your clothes, right? But an apron is going to save those. Maybe it's a favorite outfit of something of yours or whatever, or you don't even notice that the splash gets on your clothing, and then the stain sets in, and now you've got, something that is a cherished item that's maybe could get ruined. So you decide that, oh, well, since I love aprons and I know the value of an apron, I'm going to give aprons to all my friends this year because they're going to love it as much as I do. And you give them the apron, and then the next time, and then their expression is like, oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Or what is this? That's your first clue that, oh my goodness, I think I did the wrong thing. So a lot of times we do really need to go on a little bit of a detective journey before we give gifts. We really need to know the person, the recipient, fairly well in order to give them a very personal gift. What I would say is a very personal gift. A junk journal, for instance, as an example, is a very personal gift. Not everyone is into journaling. Not everyone is into keeping keepsakes and memorabilia. So when you give them a junk journal, they don't know what to do with it. And a very recent example I want to share was we went over to a friend's house to have a dinner party, and I wanted to bring her a gift, a hostess gift. You always bring a hostess gift. And so, your traditional flowers, candy, bottle of wine, those kinds of things. But with this particular friend, I do know a little bit more about her, so that was not going to be a good idea in her case. And so the flowers would have been fine. That's not what I'm talking about. The wine wouldn't have been good. The candy wouldn't have been good. But so I said, oh, let's just do something that's kind of like a neutral gift is what I was thinking. That, oh, certainly anybody can use a journal and a junk journal. So it was one of my vintage hanky little keepsake books, soft book. And then every page had a pocket and had a tag, a blank tag. So front and back could be journaled on. And I thought, well, this is ideal because she's wanting to get back into having friends to her house. And she could use this as like taking pictures and putting pictures on one of the tags. And then on the back, write about the occasion. Well, I didn't know she already had a guest book designated that she uses, or she got out of her stash and decided, or she went and bought it particularly, I don't know which. So she already had that for us to sign. And she's like, oh, my guest book over there. And I'm like, oh, great. See, she already has a guest book. And then she leaves room, because it's this big 8.5 by 11 book, for the guests to sign, say whatever they want to say, and then a space where she could put a picture from the occasion of either the table setting or a group shot, whatever she wanted to do. So then, very kindly of her, without me even asking, because I was giving her ideas sitting there at the table. Like we would do, you know, because when you're realizing the person's they're not knowing what to do with the gift, so you just start giving them ideas. Oh, well, you could do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And then she later on in the evening, she starts pointing out, or somebody we noticed on the wall, that she had some little pictures of watercolors, and so somebody asked who did those, and she said, oh, she was learning watercolor. And then we're all commenting on the watercolors and how cute they were and pretty good for a beginner and all that kind of thing. And so then the next day, she texted me and she said, Marcia, I came up with a great idea for that little book you gave me, and I'm going to do little watercolor pictures on each of those tags. And I said, now that is genius. So that set off a creative spark in me. And so I said, you know what I'm going to do? So that was one of the ideas that I came up with for my journal that I'm going to be using here on my channel for my giveaway for my subscribers and people who comment, people who are signed up with my email list, Sunshine Makers Club. So I thought, you know what, how fun that is going to be. So I'm going to put tags in like I did over here. Okay, so this is a journaling card here where you can just write on the inside of that. Here's another little blank journal card here. But I thought, well, now that's another good idea that I just came up with, thanks to my friend, is that I'm going to include watercolor paper, and then I'm going to put a little note that says that it's watercolor paper. So maybe they're already an artist and they draw doodles, you know, whatever they want to do with it. But I thought that would be a really fun thing. And of course, I'll make it into a cute tag shape. And I mean, that would be a really fun thing to do. So first, find out what is it that the recipient, what is their passion? We have our passion, but other people have their own passion, believe it or not. And so that would be the best way to go about it, so that you know that you're going to make a gift that they're going to love because you've already asked them. You've already found out questions that, you know, and you can ask very pointed questions at appropriate times and say, you know, I have this whole collection of aprons. Do you like to wear an apron when you cook? Do you find that you get stains on your clothes? And, oh, you know what? I used to get stain on my clothes, but I wear my apron now. And so I solved that problem. And they go, oh, wow, that's a really cool idea. And then you could say, hey, I make aprons. Would you like me to make you an apron? Then go that next step up. And it's okay for them to know what you're going to make them. You know, it's not going to take the fun out of the gift. And then say, hey, what style, you know, what colors do you like? I mean, would you like it to match your kitchen decor? Are you going to hang it in the kitchen somewhere? Or is it just going to be in a drawer? What's your style? What would you like? I can, you know, go to the fabric store and get all these fabrics. Or what colors? Because I have tons of fabric at home and all these colors. Tell me, what would be your color choice? Do you want pastels? Do you want them to be darks, mediums? A solid, a print, you know, whatever. And then, of course, you have your creative, you know, creativity is going to be put in there because you'll choose the pattern. And, of course, pick a pretty, you know, you'll pick a nice pattern. So a friend of mine, she was talking to a coworker, and she was telling her about how she was going to go take a sewing class at a studio and learn how to make a table runner. And then the lady was like, oh, that sounds really nice. And so she's like, oh, would you like me to make you a table runner? She's like, sure. And she really wanted a table runner. But my friend just made it out of what she thought this person was going to like, and she gave it to her, but she realized, she said, you know what, it's not really my style. So she said, oh, what is your style? Found out she's a she likes a beach theme. So she's like, okay, so she gave her that one anyway, and then she says, I'll make you another one in a beach theme. So now she had to go back to the fabric store and buy all beach-themed fabrics, and she's going to make it for the person in actually what they will want and use, and it will match her decor. So this is what we need to learn. We need to learn to don't get excited and get the cart before the horse. We need to ask questions before we're going to give a gift, because not everybody is going to love it, and not everybody is going to appreciate what we think that they could use. So this junk journal, I'm still working on it. So I've glued in this pocket. So this is a pocket here, very tight because it's a file folder, and I didn't make a little gusset on the side. And then this one is already decorated because I showed you in the last video. So this is going to get glued here. So this will be a pocket here. And then I glued this little pocket here. And then this pocket there. Okay, that one there. Okay. And then, okay, let me get to my, yeah, all right. Okay, this is the over the top page piece, the stationery piece, and then this one here. So I mean, I've gotten a lot. I mean, you know, it's coming along. I still have a few more pieces, but for the most part. So here was the center. So I needed something to go here. So I'm going to be working on this, but today's video we're not going to be working on the junk journal. We're going to be working on slow stitching. So I'm going to go back to my slow stitching, and I have some new products in my Etsy shop. The new product line is the Wander Stitch collection, and it is a beautiful collection that starts off with soft books and needle books and little beginner travel size, fun size, bite size kits. So just for you to be able to sit down and get a little project done. And the goal of it was that you put them when you're finished in your soft book. So the collection of soft books, and I'm going to mix and match the themes so that you can pick up and mix and match them, and also gives you an idea of what you can do with your own stash. So here's an example of one, and this is the cover of this is an 1830s, 1850 collection fabrics, and then the pages are, this is a sample page that I've already stitched together. And the fun thing that I'm going to show you today is how you can incorporate stamping your own images and adding those to your slow stitching projects. And so here's a little teacup that I stamped, a dragonfly, a little swirly pattern, and some words made just for you, just because. And so I want to show you how I did this. It's very fun, very simple, very easy. And then I stitched this, but I also colored it in, and I'm going to show you a fun way to do that. So if you are already a watercolorist and you have watercolors, then you're going to really love this technique. If you don't have watercolors, but you have markers, water-soluble markers, you're going to love this technique as well. So we're going to take just a piece of fabric, and in this little soft book there's going to be 3 pages. So this is the first page, the second page, the third page. And then what I'm doing is I've had the first, just the one piece of batting or felt. I would go with batting. Felt's going to be a little too stiff. And this is more of an acrylic batting, not cotton. So it gave a little bit more body, like felt would do, but it still gives me the thinness that I wanted. So I decorated both sides first. I put everything on them, pinned everything into place. Fabric scraps first, then the lace pieces, stitched that all down. Then I came in with my little images, and those were stitched on last. And then when you're putting your pieces together, make sure whatever's going to be in the center is something that can be folded. But this is so soft, it's so cute, it's going to be so beautiful. So this piece, none of this is pinned down, so I'm not going to pick it up and turn it over because there's nothing on the other side. But you can just see very clearly here. I'll just pick it up and bring it a little closer so that you can see the pieces. So these are vintage, new fabrics and laces and trims blended together. And I wanted to keep a cohesive theme. These, our little soft books, are for embroidery practicing, our slow stitch practicing, for mindfulness, for relaxation, all of those wonderful good things. And so, you know, it's not like you're supposed to be making a junk journal out of it, for instance. And these can even be used as needle books when you're done. So they're soft pages just like a needle book would be. But they're so cute and colorful and not just a plain piece of felt. Don't you think that would be a whole lot nicer? So I'm calling them my needle books and soft books. So, but they're for practice time. So I'm using Distress ink, the Ranger's Distress ink walnut stain, and I'm going to stamp the dragonfly and the little swirl onto the fabric. And I just cut out a strip that is approximately 2.5 inches, and then the length of it doesn't really matter. It just depends on whatever it is you're going to do. And then stamp it, which now before I gave it a little bit of I left a little bit of an edge, but this is okay. I got a little too close, but that's all right. And you may want to leave a little bit of a border, which is what I should have done. And then so this one is going to get stamped over here. And I'm going to just place it where, obviously you want to place it where you can get the most fabric use out of it. And then I have a couple of stamps, the word stamp, and then I did the teacup stamp. Okay, so here's another word one. And it doesn't really matter because you can choose to either stitch it or not. You can just leave it like it is. You don't have to stitch it. But this is such a beautiful way and a fun way to put words into your projects without having to worry about printing them out on, you know, getting a sheet that has to run through your printer. Just get your stamps out. Start stamping on the fabric, and then I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to color these in. And it's just so much fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So here's the teacup. Again, I'm leaving space. Okay, now I'm going to get my markers and show you how I did this. So, you know, that's what I love about the videos, is that you get to learn from other people. We have so much that we can teach each other, you know? So I am using my Stamping Right markers. And like I said, these are all water soluble, so that's all you need are water soluble. And I'm using colors that were matching in the fabrics. So I will just pick these out, lay them here. And I mean, it's just makes everything oh, so personal. I mean, it just makes it more, what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive. I'm going to go look for my footstool, and I forgot that I already brought it in here and put it under there. Okay, so let me get comfortable. Now, depending on what it is, how big your image is, depends on the tip size of the marker that you'll want to use. Now, on this particular one, you'll see that there's a thin tip and then there's the broader tip. So I found that if you use the broader tip, it's going to bleed more, kind of like your wetness would with your watercolors. But if you use the thin tip, then you have much better control. And so that's what I am going to do, and I'm sharing that with you because it's just that much easier. Okay, now, for the dragonfly, I'm thinking, I kind of did a combination yesterday, and that was really pretty. So I'm going to go with this blue, and then all the little lines, I'm trying to go in between the little lines. And, I mean, if you just, it's so amazing at how well the marker adheres to the fabric. I mean, it's just like it's really cool. Very fun. Okay, so this is just with the fine tip point. Now I'm going to switch to the broader tip point and let you see the difference. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to press down hard because I already know the effect that I will get. So I want it to look good, so I'm not going to press down hard. I'm going to just keep it, you know. So it just depends on what you're wanting to color and how much color you want to go on. And then, of course, if you do more, a gentle touch is going to give you a lighter color. And then if you press down a little bit more, you're going to get the deeper, darker color. Okay. Let me just hold that up there for you. Then I want to go with, I'm thinking, yeah, go with a little bit of this yellow. Just really, really am so happy with this. And this is so much fun because, I mean, you can take the time if you want and you can sit down and embroider it all in, or you can make your life a lot easier and you can just watercolor it in or magic marker it in, you know. So that's the route I decided to go with. I'm like, let's just streamline this, shall we? I am all about easy here on my channel, so you've been watching me for any length of time, you know that I mention that over and over and over and over and over. It's all about the ease. Okay. Now the body, let me see, what did I do on this other one? Can't remember what I did. Okay. Yeah, I did a little bit of the green, but then I went back and stitched it with brown. And then I put little bits of brown stitching in there. Okay, so this particular green, I don't want to go with that one. This is more like a blue, but that's okay. Let's see. This is more better. Okay, what is this? This is mint macaroon. And more better is not a word. That is improper English. Okay. Much better. There you go. Look at how cute that is. Absolutely adorable. Okay, now I think I'll come in with this green, and on the swirl, there we go. Outline the leaf over here. And the little cherry. Put a French knot in the cherry. Then I want to use a little bit more of this soft blue. And then this pretty coral color, Calypso Coral. So that is how quick and easy it is that you can add some wording and images and color to your projects and make them very, very personal. Okay, so now what I would do next is decide, okay, what do I want to stitch before I start cutting these individual little pieces out, because I did this both ways and I found it's much easier to go ahead and stitch it when it's on the bigger piece of fabric. So save yourself that headache. All right, let me find my needle with the little bit of a bigger eye that I want. Okay, so I'm going to use this brown first of all, and I'm going to just highlight a few of the letters in this wording. So it says, gentle thoughts of you, and I want to emphasize the first letter, I think, of each word. I think it's going to be nice. And again, when you have, I mean, if your handwriting is nice, you could just use a marker and write it, and then you could stitch it. But I like this. And then I like to just use a back stitch. Depending on your fabric, the weave of the fabric is also makes it easier for your stitching to look good. I wouldn't use anything that's got a really big open weave. Something that's got a tighter weave is going to look nicer. I will show you here in a momento when I get the G finished. I can pull the needle through the fabric, that is. Giving me a little bit of a hard time. there's the first top half of the G. Very pretty. Okay, let's start here at the base of the G and then go down. We'll really give it an elegant touch by doing this. To your gift. And then your recipient will be very impressed with it because it will really add that extra special touch. When one of my customers requested one of our Hollow books as baby shower gifts, and she wanted, you know, obviously children's books to be used, and so I picked a Winnie the Pooh and what was the other one? Oh, Beatrix Potter. And then she wanted their names. The first name of the babies put on the book. And of course, it couldn't be short little names. No. One was Turtaloo, and the other one was, what was the other one? Started with, Summerly. Beautiful names. I mean, absolutely beautiful names. And then it dawned on me later on, and I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't Turtaloo the name of one of the kittens in the Aristocats? Turtaloo, Turtaloo. I was like, oh, yeah, I remembered that. Because I was like, it sounds so familiar, but it was so unique at the same time. Yep. And then the names, what they mean, are really fitting. I mean, they're babies, for crying out loud, you know. You don't know what they're going to turn out to be. Look at how nice that looks. So, gentle thoughts of you. And I mean, I could just leave it like that. Just do the G and then maybe the Y. I think that would be really cool. Just leave it like that. I love it. I'm really happy with that. Now, the one thing you got to keep in mind is if you're going to, when you're using any thread, now if I come across the back and start over here and pull that, you're going to see that. So I don't like doing that. So what I would recommend is you just tie a knot in it, and just, if you're going to, you know, do like what I'm doing and just do one letter here and one letter there, and then that way you don't see that line shadow through your fabric. If you have a light colored fabric. If you have a dark colored fabric and you're not going to see it, then don't worry about it. But when you have a light colored fabric and you do see it, then yes. Then you would not want that. Alright, so since I did the beginning of that letter, I want to do the beginning of this letter, even though I think the U would be really pretty also, but I may do the whole word. Let's see how it goes. I'm thinking I may do the whole word. I don't like how that just did. It's going to make my U look like a V. Oh, I should have gone shorter so that I could turn it. Try it. Let's see if I make this one shorter. Maybe I can achieve the look I'm looking for. Otherwise, it looks just like a blob. Shorter stitches are always better. Let me just say that. Because then you have more control, and then if you see that it's not going to look right, okay. Especially when you start getting to where the curve is. So any curves, you want to stop before the curve so that you give yourself room to actually do the curve. Otherwise, it's gonna turn it into a V instead of a curve. See, I did fine here, because the curve you're gonna just have to do a real short stitch. Right here. Let me see. There it goes. Okay, that looks good. Line it up on the right letter. And as you noticed, I'm not using an embroidery hoop. You don't need an embroidery hoop for this. Okay, and then up here, I want top curve. Hopefully we'll meet with this other one perfectly. Okay. There we go. Okay. So gentle thoughts of you. That's going to look really nice. So I'm going to finish this one up. I want to... Oh, maybe I'll leave it like that. Or I'll just do the tail of the U, I think. I like that look of the tail, so I'm thinking... Okay, so I'll do the Y and just the tail of the U. That should be, give it character. Okay, very nice. I like it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. That still gives me plenty of fabric to be able to stitch the teacup and the dragonfly and little swirl. Go through the threads at the back, put the knot in there. Okay, so now when I need to leave room. Trying to straighten this up. There we go. All right, now put it right here. That would look really pretty. And then I can come in also and age it up a little bit with just the ink dauber with some of the either vintage photo or the walnut stain, depending on the look I'm going to go for. And a little bit like, you know, in the corners, the edges, just to kind of subdue some of that white fabric. So let me see. I'm going take a scrap of this white fabric here. And then that way I can see the difference in the look that I'm going. Okay, so definitely I want the lighter one, the vintage photo. It gives it more of that tea-stained look. Bring it back over here. Just gonna brush it gently. Perfect look that I was going for. Very, very nice. Nice. Much, much better. There you go. So I hope you liked this video of learning how to make gifts that they'll love by first asking them questions to get to know their lifestyle, get to know their habits, their hobbies, their passions. And then you can start making and adapting something that you already know how to make and what you are passionate about to fit their needs and their lifestyle, so that then when you do give it to them, they will love it and they will use it. And that is like a very good feeling, to know that something that you love and that you like, the person is definitely going to use. So in our next video, I will hopefully be further along with the Daphne's Diary Junk Journal. Not only finishing this one, but also finishing the one that is for the giveaway. So I'm going to work on that one right now, which is right here. And then I will feature it hopefully by the end of the week. And then at the end of the month, because my new collection launched in my shop, and I said that I was going to use this as a giveaway. And also the gift with purchase for people who actually make a purchase in my shop is going to be something from one of these collections. It's just going to be some little stitched piece that you can include in on your page. It's probably going to be one of my stamped images, and for you to be able to stamp. And also in the collection is going to be a very special little soft book, and just for soft book of stitches is what I'm calling it. And so look for that coming up later this week, also in my Markets of Sunshine Etsy shop, so that you can either choose a soft book or a book of stitches, or the little travel size, fun size kit. So thank you for joining me here today. And in the next video, we are going to talk more also about the fun of finding treasures in our stash and using what we have and turning those into gifts as well. Because we have a lot of supplies, and we need to start using them, and what better way to make things and make other people's life happy. So that's why I do my giveaways. That's why I am doing the gifts with purchase, because I already know that you like these things, and so giving you an extra little gift is going to be going to somebody who can actually use them and like them. So stay safe, keep creating in the sunshine, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.